Every individual on a journey of growth, success, or personal evolution is bound to encounter resistance. It shows up in the form of failure, self-doubt, obstacles, and unforeseen hardships. But these aren't signs that you're off track. They're signs that you're moving. They're proof that you're in motion, pressing forward towards something meaningful. In fact, it is in the heat of adversity that real transformation begins. Challenges aren't barriers to your purpose. They are bridges. They aren't meant to stop you, they are meant to reveal what you're truly made of. When you face resistance, your first instinct might be to pull back, retreat, or even question whether the path is worth it. That's natural. But the deeper truth is this: the presence of difficulty is often a confirmation that you're growing beyond your comfort zone. That discomfort you feel is growth in motion. Every struggle, every obstacle is an invitation to rise higher, to think deeper, to push harder. It is during those very moments when you're tempted to quit that you're closest to a breakthrough. There's something fundamentally powerful about standing in the face of adversity and choosing to keep going, not because it's easy, not because you're certain of the outcome, but because you've made a promise to yourself, a promise to keep moving forward no matter what. This inner commitment becomes your anchor when the winds of life try to shake you loose. And make no mistake, the winds will come, the storms will hit, but if your roots are deep, if your purpose is strong, you will not be moved. What separates those who succeed from those who fade into obscurity isn't talent alone. It's not intelligence, background, or even luck. It's the ability to turn adversity into advantage. It's the capacity to look a closed door in the face and decide that it's time to find another way in. It's the relentless determination to see difficulty not as a reason to stop, but as a reason to dig deeper, to grow stronger, to become better. When you stop seeing challenges as enemies and start seeing them as mentors, everything changes. Because a mentor doesn't coddle you, it challenges you. A mentor doesn't make things easy, it reveals your weaknesses so you can strengthen them. In this same way, hardship develops qualities in you that nothing else can. Grit, discipline, patience, perspective. These aren't formed in times of ease. They're forged in the fire of trial, and when cultivated, they become the very tools you'll rely on when the stakes get higher, when the journey gets tougher, when the dreams get bigger. Think back on every time you grew as a person, every time you became stronger, wiser, more resilient. It didn't happen in the moments of celebration. It happened in the moments of struggle. When you were forced to dig deep, to find courage you didn't know you had, to take another step when every part of you was screaming to stop. That is where transformation lives, not in the absence of struggle, but in the decision to rise above it. Life has a way of throwing curveballs right when you start to get comfortable. That's by design. Because comfort doesn't lead to greatness. Growth does. And growth lives just outside of comfort's borders. So if you find yourself in a season of challenge, take heart. You are not being punished. You are being prepared. Prepared for the next level. Prepared for the purpose that called you in the first place. The pressure you're feeling isn't there to crush you, it's there to shape you. Your mindset is your greatest weapon in this battle, because the way you interpret your challenges will determine the way you respond to them. If you see them as unfair, you'll resist them. If you see them as pointless, you'll lose motivation. But if you see them as training grounds, if you believe that every obstacle carries with it a lesson, a strength, a tool, you'll face them differently. You'll face them with intention, with clarity, and most of all, with purpose. You weren't made to crumble under pressure. You were made to become stronger because of it. There's a reason why diamonds are formed under pressure and steel is hardened in fire. The same is true for you. The adversity you face today is preparing you to handle the responsibility, the opportunity, the success that's waiting on the other side. But you have to keep going. You have to keep showing up. Because every step forward, even the smallest one, builds momentum. And that momentum, that's what carries you through the tough seasons. Let go of the idea that the path should be easy. Let go of the belief that struggle is a sign of failure. Struggle is not failure, it's formation. It's the refining process that reveals what matters most. It cuts away the distractions, the excuses, the self-doubt, and leaves behind something pure, something unshakable. Your true purpose. Every champion was once a contender that refused to quit. They didn't win because they never lost. They won because they never stopped learning. They never stopped adapting. They never stopped growing. When the world told them it was over, they found a way. And you can too. Not because you have all the answers, but because you have the will to find them. So the next time life hits hard, and it will, remember this. The hit isn't the end of the story. It's the beginning of your response. And your response is where your power lies. Will you fold under pressure? Or will you rise with purpose? Will you let adversity define you? Or will you define yourself through adversity? It's easy to feel like giving up when things get hard. It's easy to lose sight of your vision when the road gets rough, but nothing worthwhile ever comes without resistance, and nothing meaningful is built without struggle. So face it, embrace it, use it. Let every challenge fuel your growth, not your fear. Let every difficulty sharpen your focus, not steal your hope. And most importantly, let every obstacle remind you of why you started and who you're becoming in the process. You think success is a gift? It's not. Success is a demand. It's not something handed out at the end of a wish or a dream. It's earned in silence, in the early mornings when the world is asleep and you're wide awake, working when no one's watching. It's forged in the dark moments when doubt creeps in, when your body says stop and your mind starts negotiating with your goals. That's where purpose lives, in the grind. Purpose doesn't wait for you to feel good. It doesn't care if you're tired, frustrated, or confused. Purpose isn't patient. It calls you every day, every morning, in the moments where discipline must be louder than motivation. Because motivation is a feeling, and feelings change. But purpose, real purpose, it stays the same. It was there when you first got inspired, when you wrote that goal down, when you saw the vision so clearly you could taste it. And that same purpose demands something from you now. Action. There are no shortcuts when it comes to fulfilling your purpose. You can't skip the process. You can't leap over the hard days and land in your dream life. Every step counts, even the ones that feel like they're going backward. Because the grind isn't just about forward motion, it's about persistence. It's about showing up on the days when you feel like quitting. It's about pushing through when you're exhausted and everything in your life is screaming at you to stop. That's when purpose is truly tested. That's when you prove whether you meant it when you said, I will. You can't borrow someone else's fire to chase your dreams. You have to create your own. And that fire comes from reminding yourself every day why you started. Why did you make those sacrifices? Why did you say no to things other people said yes to? Why did you choose the hard road? Because deep down there's something inside you that knew the easy path wasn't for you. There's something in you that refuses to settle, that refuses to live a life of what if. That's your purpose. That's the reason you grind. The grind is thankless. It doesn't come with applause. It's not glamorous. It's not flashy. There are no likes, no trophies, no standing ovations in the grind. There are just you, your goals, and the clock. And the question is, what will you do when nobody's clapping? What will you do when the results aren't there yet? When the recognition is nowhere in sight? Will you still get up? Will you still give your best? That's what separates the committed from the curious. That's what separates those who dream from those who execute. Success isn't found in the big moments. It's in the repetition. It's in doing what you said you would do, over and over, long after the feeling you set it in is gone. It's in holding the line when it's boring, when it's painful, when it feels like nothing is changing. That's the price. That's the grind. And only those who are truly connected to their purpose will keep paying it. Purpose makes pain worth it. Because when you're living with purpose, struggle isn't the enemy, it's the signal that you're growing. Every obstacle is a test of how much you want it. Every delay is a question. Are you willing to keep going? And when the answer is yes, even when everything hurts, even when progress is invisible, you prove that your purpose is real. You prove that you're not just interested, you're invested. When you're driven by purpose, you don't need to see the whole staircase. You just need to take the next step. You stop needing guarantees. You stop needing validation. You stop needing someone to tell you it's okay to chase what sets your soul on fire, because deep down you already know. You don't need permission to go after what you were built for. You just need to move. It's easy to grind when it's new, when it's exciting. But what happens when the excitement fades? What happens when the fire isn't burning quite as bright? That's where real purpose steps in. Purpose is what carries you through the valleys, through the monotony, through the loneliness of the process. Purpose says, I'm not doing this because it's fun. I'm doing this because it's who I am. Some people chase comfort. But purpose will demand you chase growth. And growth is uncomfortable. Growth forces you to stretch, to struggle, to leave behind what's safe. But that's the only way to become who you were meant to be. Purpose doesn't come with comfort. It comes with calling. And calling always comes with cost. The question is, are you willing to pay it? You can't microwave greatness. You can't Amazon Prime your dreams. There's no express lane for those who are truly living on purpose. You have to grind through every part of the process, the repetition, the setbacks, the doubt. And through it all, you have to remember why you started. You have to remind yourself that you're not grinding for the applause, for the followers, for the likes. You're grinding because something deep inside you said, I refuse to live average. You owe it to yourself not to give up. You owe it to the version of you that believed it was possible. You owe it to your future, to the people depending on you, watching you, learning from you. You owe it to your purpose. Because this isn't just about you. It never was. Purpose ripples. Purpose inspires. When you live on purpose, you give others permission to believe in theirs. When you grind, you show others that it's possible. That greatness isn't reserved, it's earned. And you earn it by embracing the grind every single day. Adversity is an unavoidable part of life. No one is exempt from facing trials, setbacks, and periods of doubt. It is in these very moments that the most growth can occur, if one is willing to lean into the discomfort rather than retreat from it. When you face challenges, it can feel as though the world is conspiring against you, stacking obstacles in your path. Yet, what often seems like a dead end is, in reality, a redirection, a subtle, or sometimes harsh push toward the strength you haven't yet realized within yourself. Each struggle you encounter carries with it the opportunity to evolve. It is easy to move forward when everything is going according to plan. It requires no special character to persist when life is handing you victories. But the true test of a person's resolve, of their vision and purpose, emerges when everything begins to unravel. In those quiet, grueling hours, when doubt whispers louder than hope, that's when your character is formed. That's when the fire of growth is lit. That fire doesn't ignite when you're comfortable. It catches flame in the furnace of pressure, fatigue, rejection, and failure. Think of any major turning point in your life, any achievement you hold dear. More often than not, it was born out of a time when you were pushed beyond your comfort zone. These moments may have broken the version of you that existed before, but in doing so, they carved space for a stronger version to emerge. Pain, in many ways, is a sculptor. It strips away the unnecessary, it forces introspection, and it demands adaptation. It is through adversity that you learn what you're truly capable of, because it puts you in situations where you're forced to make a choice, to give in or to grow. What makes adversity a catalyst for transformation is not the struggle itself, but the decision to respond with persistence, reflection, and courage. That decision doesn't require talent, resources, or luck. It only requires a choice, repeated, over and over again, even when it would be easier to walk away. This decision, to face hardship instead of fleeing from it, rewires your mind. Each time you endure, you build a little more mental toughness. Each time you get up after being knocked down, you make a promise to yourself that you're not going to quit. That inner promise becomes sacred, and eventually it becomes your new standard. And once that standard is raised, the old version of you has no place to return to. There's a certain power in facing adversity and surviving it. It recalibrates your mindset. It helps you realize that the worst thing you feared might not have been as insurmountable as you believed. Fear often inflates the size of obstacles in your mind. But when you walk through that fire, you start to see the illusion for what it was. You realize that fear is rarely about reality. It's about perception. And when you challenge those perceptions through action, you not only conquer the moment, but you redefine your relationship with fear itself. This is what makes adversity so vital. It dismantles illusions. It tears down the false beliefs you hold about yourself and the world around you. Many people spend their lives avoiding discomfort. They shape their goals around what feels safe, what feels familiar, what they can guarantee. But purpose is not found in safety. It's not discovered in the routine or in the easy path. Purpose is unearthed when you have to fight for it, when you've bled for it, cried for it, and still chosen to rise for it. That kind of commitment only comes when you've been tested. And the testing ground is never soft or welcoming. It's cold, it's relentless, but it's also honest. It shows you exactly who you are, not the curated version you project, but the raw, unfiltered truth. When you view adversity not as a curse but as a gift, a training ground for becoming your highest self, everything changes. Your attitude shifts. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" you start asking, "What is this trying to teach me?" That one question turns struggle into strategy. It moves you out of victimhood and into responsibility. And from that place you begin to reclaim power. Suddenly, every setback becomes a chance to gain wisdom. Every rejection becomes a lesson in patience. Every failure a class in resilience. These experiences become your mentors, ones you never asked for but needed nonetheless. And let's be honest, growth doesn't care if you're ready. Life rarely waits until you feel strong enough or confident enough. It throws you into the deep end. You don't get to prepare with a perfect plan. You have to adapt in real time. That's the nature of adversity. It reveals the difference between those who say they want to grow and those who are willing to be broken in the process of doing so. Because that's what real growth feels like sometimes, like breaking, like falling apart. But in truth, you're not breaking down. You're breaking open. Open to new ideas, new habits, new levels of mental and emotional endurance. The ability to embrace adversity is one of the clearest indicators of long-term success. Talent will get you in the door. Circumstances may give you a head start, but it's your relationship with hardship that determines how far you'll go. If you shrink when things get tough, you cap your potential.